Have you ever wondered how you still remember you and your best friend's old handshake, or writing that paper up at midnight? You remember these things because your brain performs a process called memory. Memory is the persistence of learning. There's three main processes in memory: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding is the processing of information into a memory. There's two processes of encoding: effortful processing, which is encoding requiring attention and conscious effort, like studying notes before a test. And then there's two strategies to help you use effortful processing. There's chunking, which is organizing things into a familiar group. And then there's mnemonics, which is memory aids using vivid imagery. And then the second processing system in encoding is automatic processing, which is the unconscious encoding of incidental information like time, space, and frequency. And the second step is storage. And just like it sounds, storage is storing the memories into your hippocampus where they can be accessed later. And we have two types of memory storage for different lengths of time. There's short-term memory, which is only stored for like seconds to hours, and then there's long-term memory, which is stored for years and keeps for a while. And then you may also wonder, and like I said earlier, you may wonder where they're stored. They're stored in the hippocampus. And your third and final step in memory processing is retrieval. And retrieval is the process of accessing the stored memories. And there's three measures of retention. And a measure of retention is just measures to see how well you retain information. There's recall, which is the measure of how well a person can retrieve memories learned earlier. And to test this, we use fill-in-the-blank tests. And then recognition is identifying previously learned items, like a multiple-choice test. And then the final one is relearning, which is learning something the second time, and you learn it faster because you already know it and you're just starting to remember some of it again. And sometimes we'll struggle with remembering things, and our brain has things called retrieval cues. These help us remember, and one of them is priming, which is the activation of usually unconscious of particular associations in memory. They can be a word, a place, or even an image. And mood congruent memory is another retrieval cue. It's the tendency to recall experiences that are consistent with your good, bad, or sad mood. And finally, let's review. Memory is the persistence of our learning. And there's three stages that help us to process it: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding takes in the information so that we can use it in the storage area, and the storage stores it, and retrieval brings it all back where we can take a test or pass a test or whatever we do with it. And even after we forget, we have amnesia, and there's two types of amnesia: retrograde and antegrade. And antegrade is forgetting like future things, like you can't remember those things. And then retrograde is forgetting your past, like you can't remember things you did before. And then there's things like Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's is a disease that affects people in older age, and they can't remember their past, so it's a type of retrograde amnesia. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.